Namaste, my name is Tim Halloran. I am an astrologer and my partner is a Reiki master. You can get in touch with us at our website www.rosalilihealing.com. This is a astrological forecast for the week of July 22nd, 2013. Today is Monday. And I do apologize. I realized that there was no video last week. That was completely my fault. I originally intended on making the video in advance, and then I ran out of time. I was actually on a 7-day cruise with my family last week, so I had no telephone and no internet and no way of getting the astrology out. So I'm going to take a few minutes to recap what was going on all through last week, although a lot of what I said in the previous report still held true through the next week. It is a very powerful time astrologically, and I know that is said by astrologers very often, but all the planets are talking up a storm right now, and you might be able to really feel that, because when this is going on, we really get the idea that it is a powerful time, and there is a lot of changes taking place right now, and there's a lot of important things being established. So let me talk about last week recap. Well, the big thing going on is we still got this grand trine in water. It was an exact grand trine between Saturn and the North Node in Scorpio, Neptune and Chiron in Pisces, and Mercury, Jupiter, and Lilith and Mars all in Cancer. This Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Lilith conversation happening in Cancer, this is where a lot of changes is taking place. This is where a lot of information is coming from. And with Mercury being retrograde until the 20th, that was 2 days ago, there has been a lot of reflection on the past, going back into the childhood wounds, going back into those traumas that we might have been putting a mental block on. These parts of our lives that we accepted and sort of shut ourselves down and told ourselves that this is just life, this is the way that things just have to be, might have been coming up for us and again and asking us, is this the way things should be? Should we just stick to the old past, the hard-working past paradigm where people had to fight to survive? Or is there something about these past stories, about these traumas and these wounds that might be a little undeserved and unjustified? And maybe this wasn't fair, maybe we need to go back there and talk about it. Yeah, that's what this trine with Chiron last week was all about. Talking about the past, conversing about our feelings, and really trying to explain ourselves and maybe tie up some loose ends. And that carries us into this week. So Mercury went direct on the 20th. We had a full moon today. It was on the Aquarius Capricorn cusp, and it was in opposition to the Sun, which enters Leo today. And we also have Venus entering Virgo. So a lot of shifting around today. What much of this has to do is we are in a major initiation time, and we are having our perspectives being shifted and our roles being shifted as we come into our real, deeper spiritual role and get in touch with our real purpose here on Earth. So this full moon being in the Aquarius Capricorn cusp has to do with us forming concretely, building, creating a foundation for how things are going to be going. And with it being on the Aquarius cusp, it's going to be with us interconnecting with our friends, with our family. Yes, right now is about forming our new family, and this is part of the initiation taking place as we are finding our future soul workers, soul friends, soul family, and we are coming together and we are sharing our ideas, and we are building our futures. And the Sun moving into Leo is going to be, it's about us being born into our true role. What we are really here to share, to teach, to educate. Leo is the actor. Leo is the fully realized, self-expressed individual. So we are finding our own expression and our own unique individual way of teaching and spreading. What is it we are spreading? We are learning about empathy. We are learning about others' needs. We are learning about how we are interconnected with everybody. And it is a part of our role to be taking care of others as well as ourselves. And this is what the fully realized Leo is. It is not someone who's just looking after themselves. This is somebody who's fighting for the group. We are making plans We are building and we are manifesting a new paradigm, a new future, and it's going to be for all of us, not just some of us, as we join together and look after ourselves. So also this week we have Uranus squaring Mercury, which is in opposition to Pluto. And this is a very important aspect because this is our higher selves speaking to us through our minds. We have this Uranus in Aries, and it is telling us we need to change. We need to change our mental patterns of the past. Even our mental construction of how we thought things are is susceptible to being changed right now. It's as if the old paradigm, the old way of looking at things is actually what's shifting right now. It's all about perspective shift happening right now. Many people keep waiting for an event or something to force them into a new way of living, and it's actually through our own understanding that our perspective is shifting. We are seeing the world in a new light, and this new light is going to change everything, but it starts with us. It is us that is shifting. And as our perspective changes, as our mental construction of how we see the world changes, then everything else changes. Our work will change, our family will change, our friends will change, and everything is coming together right now. And it's not necessarily a painless time, it can be a tumultuous time. This is because a lot of what we're learning about right now is this Cancer archetype. I told you we have Jupiter, Mars, Lilith, and Mercury all in Cancer right now, and they're all talking together. This is the mother, and this is nature. We are learning about the laws of nature. And the laws of nature is something that we have struggled with for many thousands of years, and the old paradigm did not very nicely fit together and work harmoniously with nature. In fact, this might be a time where we're going inside ourselves and discovering how much we have been fighting against the laws of nature, rather than working harmoniously with them. And this may not necessarily be easy, because for someone who has their ego largely shaped by the current culture and the old paradigm, there is a lot of things that we fight against nature. We do fight against death, we fight against sickness. We may even fight against the changes of the seasons. And of course, these are things that we cannot fight against. Transformation is an aspect of reality. And we are learning about this aspect of reality. We are learning about transformation, and we may be learning about how transformation scares us. It's a rather frightening aspect of reality. In order to move with life and go with the flow and not be scared and rigid, we have to learn to surrender to the laws of nature, because we can't change the laws of nature. No, we can't escape from reality at the end of the day. Reality is real. Reality is true. We have to confront reality, we have to confront truth. So I'll give you a personal example of how this has happened to me in the last week. On the 20th, we were ever so blessed to have a woman. Her name is Karen Chapa, and I'll include some links below how you can get in touch with her and her organization. She is a bringer of a shamanic lineage from Peru, and she did a despacho ceremony with us, and a part of this ceremony was she helped induce us into a meditative state where we could get in touch with our ancestors, and our ancestors shared some wisdom with us. And I'll share with you now the wisdom that was shared with me from some ancestors. So as I meditated and I got in touch and went back and back into my own self, into my own past, I found these ancestors, and our ancestors were very, very, very in tune with the laws of nature. They did not fight against the laws of nature. They knew the universe, and they knew themselves very, very well. So I was shown an ancestor, a great-grandfather or something like this, someone who was very in tune with nature. And this person was fighting on a battlefield, and in fact they had been struck by several arrows and was lying and dying on the ground. And the wisdom that he shared with me is how to die with honor. How to die without being in fear. And the way he was able to do it is he understood the process of dying. And the process of dying is indeed the same as this process of transformation of which I speak. Because there is no real death in terms of there is an end and that's it. That doesn't exist in reality. There is actually only transformation. Right? In science we already understand this, because matter is neither created nor destroyed, it simply changes. And in fact, our souls are not created nor destroyed, but the bodies that contain them and the experience which surrounds them does indeed change. And probably the most significant of these transformations and shifts is the process of dying. So as my ancestor lay on the ground, he surrendered his body to the earth. And he knew that he was returning to his actually primordial mother, which is the earth. All of our bodies and all of these animals and plants actually are a part of the earth. So as we are transforming, the earth is transforming, and we are actually part of this process. And when we die, we surrender our bodies back to the earth, and in fact our bodies return to the earth, and then we are reborn again out of the earth. And so this ancestor shared this process with me. And this process is very frightening for some people. There is pain involved. Death is a painful process. It is not painless leaving your body, so it is said. But we all must surrender to this transformation process. And there may be some bodies shifting right now, but there's a whole lot of other transformation happening on all the planes of life. Yes, our minds are shifting, our ideals are shifting, our roles are shifting, our perspectives are shifting, who we think we are is shifting, what we think the world is shifting. And there's a great degree of surrender required in order to do this and not be petrified and not be blown around, right? So the way we do this is the way my ancestor did it. And you just lay back and you let the mother embrace you. You let her take all of your limbs and pull it back into the earth. You let all the molecules get re-shifted. And it's not always comfortable, you know? And there's a great degree of trust required. But if you trust, you can realize that yes, we get to go through this little bit of bumpy terrain, and we do get things shaken up and things shift around. But when we trust and when we understand that we'll get put together again, well, that is what always happens, isn't it? It's never the end of the world. It just keeps changing. So this major initiation time that we're in, we have to let go of our fears. We have to let go of the past. We have to recognize what in the past is no longer serving us. What in the past needs to get changed. With the sun coming into Leo, and with Mars being conjunct with Jupiter and Lilith, there is a degree of the spiritual warrior coming out of us right now, because we need to change. And Mars is the sword, and it is cutting some things apart that need to be changed. And I do apologize about the noise in the background. I can't get away from lawnmowers. It's a huge pet peeve. I apologize. On Friday the 26th, we have Venus coming into opposition with Pluto. Our desires and our relationships are areas where this transformation can come up. Remember, as I always say, our loved ones and our closest friends are the area where there is the most emotional intimacy. And this emotional intimacy is there to teach us about ourselves. We learn about ourselves through reflection. So we see what is working through us and what our needs are and what needs to be changed through our relationships. And then this Saturday is another very powerful day. The Sun comes into a square with Jupiter. The Moon enters Aries, conjuncts Uranus and squares Mercury, and Mars forms an opposition with Pluto in Cancer. So again, this is all about transformation. And this is about us stepping up, us needing to get in touch with our truths. Our higher self is giving us messages. Our higher self is letting us know what our truth is. Our minds are taking us into the future. Our minds are giving us future-oriented ideas, and it is our responsibility to manifest them, to run with them, and even be a bit of a warrior and say, no, this is old, this needs to go away. I'm not going to just repeat the same patterns of the past. I'm not going to repeat what my mom and dad did. It doesn't work anymore. This is not how you create a utopian society. This is not how you keep everyone together and everyone happy. No, you have to listen to me now. So it is a time for us stepping into our truths and then stepping up into our roles, our real roles, what we came here to do, the work we came here to do, the changes we came here to make. So I encourage you to step into this spiritual warrior. And this spiritual warrior isn't the person fighting for himself on the battlefield. This is the empathetic warrior who cares about nature, who cares about this planet, who cares about their family, And as we step into this role, we are going to be fighting for our loved ones, fighting for our family, and fighting for this planet. Because that is what is required of us right now. And we are all coming together, and we will be able to do this without any problems. Because that's what we came here to do, and that is what we will do. So I wish you the best stepping into this work and stepping into your higher self. My name is Tim Halloran, and you can get in contact with me at the link below. Namaste.